ஐ திங்க் ஓகேன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
இப்போ ஓகேங்களா? ஓகேங்க.
ஓகே,
சாரி.
நோ ப்ராப்ளம். ஓகே ஓகே.
ஓகேங்க.
அனைவருக்கும் இனிய காலை வணக்கங்கள். வட அமெரிக்க தமிழ் சங்க பேரவை FeTNA பெருமையுடன் வழங்கும் வட அமெரிக்க சட்டம் குடியுரிமை குழு மற்றும் தமிழ் குழு வழங்கும் விசா டாக் Chronicles and Solutions. நம்ம ஒவ்வொரு முறையும் ஏதாவது ஒரு விஷயத்துல ஒரு டிமாண்ட் இருக்கும்போது ஆஃப் த நீட் அப்படின்னு சொல்ற மாதிரி ஒரு சிச்சுவேஷன் வரும்போது நமக்கு நம்ம கம்யூனிட்டிக்கு எப்பவுமே ஹெல்ப் பண்ற சில முக்கியமானவங்க நம்ம கூட சேர்ந்து அந்த ஒரு விஷயத்துக்கு ஹெல்ப்பை எப்பவுமே நம்ம பண்ணிட்டே இருப்போம். அந்த மாதிரி நம்மளோட அட்டர்னிஸ் வந்து நமக்கு எப்பவுமே ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுவாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி இன்னைக்கு நம்ம ஸ்டூடெண்ட் விசாவை பத்தி நிறைய பேச போறோம். பட் இந்த பேசுறதுக்கு இந்த தளத்தை அமைச்சு கொடுத்த நம்மளோட FeTNA தலைவர்கள் எல்லாம் இன்னைக்கு இருக்காங்க. சோ இதற்கு வரவேற்புரை கொடுக்கறதுக்காக நம்ம எழிலன் அவங்கள கூப்பிடுறோம்.
வணக்கங்க, அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். அந்த நிகழ்ச்சிக்கு ஏற்பாடு செய்திருக்கும் வட அமெரிக்க சட்டம், குடியுரிமை தமிழ் குழுக்களுக்கு மனமார்ந்த நன்றிகள். காலத்துக்கு ஏற்ற உதவிகளை செய்து கொண்டிருக்கும் சிறப்பு விருந்தினர்கள், பேரவையின் முன்னாள் செயற்குழு உறுப்பினர் கவிதா ராமசாமி அவர்களுக்கும், பேரவையின் முன்னாள் கிரீவன்ஸ் கமிட்டி உறுப்பினர் மேரி அண்ட் கென்னடி அவர்களுக்கும் மனமார்ந்த நன்றிகள். நானும் இங்கே இந்த கண்ட்ரிக்கு ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டாக தான் வந்தேன் FeTNA. ஸோ 97. ஸோ அதனால் ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு வந்து இருக்கிற இஷ்யூஸ் பிடி ஓபிடி அதில் அந்த நேரத்தில் இருக்கிற டென்ஷன் H1குள்ளே போகிறதுக்குள்ளே இருக்கிறதெல்லாம் என்னால் ஃபீல் பண்ண முடியுது. கண்டிப்பாக இந்த நேரத்தில் சேவியர்ஸ் நீங்கள்லாம் வந்து கம்யூனிட்டிக்காக அதெல்லாம் பண்ணுறதுனால ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் உங்களை வரவேற்கிறதுல. இது மாதிரி நிறைய நிகழ்ச்சிகள் நம்ம FeTNA நிகழ்ச்சியிலையும் கன்வென்ஷன்லையும் இருக்குது. எல்லோரும் வந்து ஜூலையில் கலந்துக்கோங்க. தமிழால் இணைவோம், தமிழராய் வாழ்வோம். பேரவை விழாவில் சந்திப்போம். நன்றி.
நன்றி எழிலன், தேங்க்யூ. அடுத்ததாக இதற்கு தலைமையேற்று பேசுவதற்காக நம்மளோட பிரசிடென்ட் அவர்கள் விஜய் அவங்கள கூப்பிடுறேன்.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம்ங்க. வட அமெரிக்க தமிழ்ச்சங்க பேரவையின் இந்த விசா டாக்குங்கிற இந்த நிகழ்ச்சிக்கு வந்து நம்ம வட அமெரிக்க சட்டம், குடியுரிமை குழு மற்றும் தமிழ் எமர்ஜென்சி ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் டீம் இதை வந்து ஏற்பாடு செஞ்சிருக்கீங்க. இது இந்த இக்கட்டான சூழ்நிலையில மாணவர்களுக்காக சரியான நேரத்துல இதை நீங்க எடுத்து நடத்துறது வந்து எங்களுக்கு பெரும் மகிழ்ச்சி. அதற்கு வந்து எங்களுடைய மனமார்ந்த பாராட்டுகளும் வாழ்த்துகளும். அதே நேரத்துல நம்ம இமிகிரேஷன் அட்டார்னிஸ் பேரவைக்காக பல ஆண்டு காலமாக உழைத்து கொண்டிருக்கும் கவிதா ராமசாமி அவர்களுக்கும் மேரி கென்னடி அவர்களுக்கும் இந்த நேரத்துல நான் என்னுடைய நன்றிகளை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன் பேரவை சார்பாக. உங்களுடைய சப்போர்ட் இல்லைன்னா பேரவை இந்த அளவுக்கு இந்த இமிகிரேஷன் விஷயத்துல வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த அளவுக்கு வளர்ந்துருக்காது. நிறைய எடுத்து சொல்றீங்க, அது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும்னு நான் நம்புறேன். இதை ஏற்று நடத்துகிற சுமிதா கேசவன் உங்களுக்கும் உங்கள் குழுவினருக்கும் நன்றிகளும் பாராட்டுகளும். பேரவை விழா வந்து இன்னும் 2.5 மாதத்துல வரப்போது. ஜூலை 3, 4, 5 தேதிகளில் நடக்க இருக்கிறது. இந்த வருடம் வந்து ராலே நார்த் கரோலினால நடக்குது. ராலே கன்வென்ஷன் சென்டர்ல நடக்க இருக்கிறது. பேரவையில் நிறைய நிகழ்ச்சிகள் இருக்கிறது. சிறப்பு நிகழ்ச்சிகளாக வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த வருடம் தமிழ் இசை, துள்ளிசை இருக்குது, மக்கள் இசை, இன்னிசை இரவு நேரம் இருக்குது. அதே மாதிரி காமெடி ஷோஸ், நகைச்சுவை நேரம், டிராமா இருக்கு, மருது பாண்டியர் நாடகம் இருக்கிறது, நாட்டியம், கவியரங்கம், மரபு கலைகள் சார்ந்து மரபு கலைகள் சங்கமம் சொல்லி ஒன்று நடத்துகிறோம். அதே மாதிரி பட்டிமன்றம், இலக்கிய வினாடி வினா, அறிவரங்கம், தேனி போட்டிகள், அறிவியல் தேனி போட்டிகள், இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய குரல் தேனி போட்டிகள், நிறைய போட்டிகள் நடத்துகிறோம். அதே மாதிரி நவீன நிகழ்ச்சிகள், இன்டர்நேஷ்னல் ஃபிலிம் ஃபெஸ்டிவல் நடக்க போகுது இந்த வருடம். புதுசாக அதை ஆரம்பிக்கிறோம், திரைப்பட விழாது. அதே மாதிரி யூத் அவங்களோட சேர்ந்து நம்ம மேட்ரிமோனியல் ஃபோரம், அதையும் மணமாலை நிகழ்ச்சியும் நடத்துகிறோம். கலை இலக்கிய போட்டிகள், FeTNA இன்டர்நேஷனல் தமிழ் ஆண்டர்பிரனர் நெட்வொர்க் நடத்துகிறோம். அதே மாதிரி ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ், இன்டர்நேஷ்னல் ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் டோர்னமெண்ட், வாலிபால் டோர்னமெண்ட்ஸு, அதே மாதிரி த்ரோ பால் ஃபார் விமனுக்கு நடத்துகிற மாதிரி வாக்கத்தான், நிறைய நிகழ்ச்சிகள் நடத்துகிறோம். இந்த மாதிரி இன்னும் நிறைய நிகழ்ச்சிகள் வரப்போகிறது. நிறைய சினிமா பிரபலங்கள் வர்றாங்க, பெரிய கலைஞர்கள், நிறைய இசை கச்சேரி, நம்ம இமானோட கான்சர்ட் வந்து மெல்லிசை இரவு நேரம் வந்து நடக்க போகுது. அதுக்கு நிறைய பாடகர்கள் வர்றாங்க. இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய இருக்குது. ஸோ இந்த நேரத்தில் நீங்கள் அனைவரும் வந்து இந்த நிகழ்ச்சிக்காக பேரவை விழாவிற்காக வந்து நீங்கள் வந்து சீக்கிரமாகவே நீங்கள் ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணுங்க. இப்போயே நீங்கள் உங்களுடைய ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணி குடும்பத்தோடு நீங்கள் வந்து நமக்கு சப்போர்ட் பண்ணணும். இந்த மாதிரி நிகழ்ச்சிகளை ஊக்குவிக்கிறதுக்கும் இந்த பேரவை விழா ஒரு பெரிய சப்போர்ட்டிவாக இருக்கும். அங்கேயும் நமக்கு கவிதா, மேரி அவங்கெல்லாம் வருவாங்க. அவங்களோட மாணவர்கள் நீங்க அங்க வந்தாலும் நீங்க அவங்களோட நேரடியாகவும் பேசுறதுக்கு ஒரு அரிய வாய்ப்பு அங்க கிடைக்கும் நான் நம்புறோம். ஸோ இந்த விழாவுக்கு அனைவரும் வரணும், உங்க அனைவரையும் வேண்டி கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறேன். மிக்க நன்றிங்க.
நன்றி நன்றி விஜய், தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச். ஸோ இப்போ நம்ம வந்து ப்ரோக்ராம்குள்ளார போயிடலாம். எல்லா ஊர்ல இருந்தும் எல்லாருமே வந்திருக்கீங்க. ஸோ ஃபெட்னாங்கிறது வந்து ஒரு பெரிய ஆர்கனைசேஷன். நம்ம எல்லாருமே ஒரு ஃபேமிலியா இருந்து இந்த கன்வென்ஷனை நிச்சயமா சிறப்பிச்சு கொடுக்கணும். ப்ளீஸ் ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணி பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்ணுங்க. ஸோ ஸ்டார்டிங் வித் விசா டாக்ஸ். இப்போ ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸோட இஷ்யூஸ் எவ்வளோ பெரிய விஷயமா போயிட்டு இருக்குன்னு நம்ம எல்லாத்துக்குமே தெரியும். அண்ட் வித்தவுட் மேரி அண்ட் வித்தவுட் கவிதா, none of these immigration programs so far we have done would be beyond impossible. I will just go through the one என்ன வாக் த்ரூ பண்ணிடுறேன் நம்ம என்ன பண்ண போறோம்னு. Both of you will be talking to us about what the current issue is, what to expect and what is going to be, நம்ம இதனால ஏற்படக்கூடிய பாதிப்புகள் என்ன அப்படிங்கிறதையும் நம்ம வந்து பார்த்துடலாம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட். அதுக்கப்புறமா வந்து நம்மளோட எல்லா மெம்பர்ஸும் வந்து நிறைய கொஸ்டின்ஸ் ரைஸ் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க, லாட் ஆஃப் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. அதுல சிங்க்ரனைஸ் பண்ணி எவ்வளோ சிம்பிளிஃபைடா கொடுக்க முடியுமோ அந்த கொஸ்டின்ஸ் நான் உங்ககிட்ட கேட்கிறேன். how much ever simplified நம்மளால ஆன்சர் பண்ண முடியுமோ அதை கொடுத்துடலாம். பட் when it is too personal, too specific, we are trying to avoid that because it becomes case to case basis. and இன்னொன்னுங்க, இது நம்ம கொடுக்கறது எல்லாமே ஜென்ரலான ஆன்சர்ஸ் தான். I would like to say this disclaimer. இது எல்லாமே வந்து ஜென்ரலான ஆன்சர்ஸ் மட்டும்தான். பிகாஸ் இது எந்த வகையிலுமே இது வந்து லீகலா ஒரு விஷயம் கிடையாது, லீகலான பர்சனல் இது கிடையாது. ஸோ ஐ வுட் லைக் டு சே தட் இட் இஸ் ஜஸ்ட் அ நார்மல் suggestion. It is in no way this is a legal advice to anybody. So consider this as you're going through a website or reading an article. அதை வந்து இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் பர்சனல் டச்சோட நாங்க கொடுக்குறோம் அப்படிங்கறத நீங்க எதிர்பார்க்கலாம். ஸோ ஒன்ஸ் அகேன் ஐ தேங்க் த அட்டர்னிஸ் ஃபார் கிவிங் அஸ் அவர் ப்ரெஷியஸ் டைம். ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கவிதா, நீங்க சொல்லுங்க. நம்ம நிறைய கேசஸ் பத்தி பேசிக்கிட்டு இருந்தோம் இது வரைக்கானது. இந்த யூனிவர்சிட்டிஸ் இஷ்யூ 50% அப்படின்னா ரூமர்ஸ் வந்து ரெஸ்ட் ஆஃப் த 50% அப்பார்ட் ஃப்ரம் ஆல் த ஃபார்வர்ட்ஸ். ஸோ நீங்க சொல்லுங்க, வாட் ஆர் த இஷ்யூஸ் தட் த கரண்ட் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் ஃபேசிங் வித் த F1 visa and the immigration process, and what are the rest?
Thank you சுமி. எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். முதல்ல எல்லாரையும் பேரவை விழாக்கு அன்புடன் வரவேற்கிறேன். ஏன்னா நானும் வந்து we are also part of FeTNA. நாங்களும் FeTNAவோட இணைந்து உங்க எல்லாரையும் பேரவை விழாக்கு அனுப்ப ரொம்ப ஃபன்னா இருக்குங்க. ஒரு ஃபேமிலி ஃபங்க்ஷன். நான் எப்போ முடியுமோ நான் மிஸ் பண்ணாம நாங்கெல்லாம் போயிடுவோம். ஸோ தயவு செய்து வாங்க. வராதவங்க இந்த வாட்டி வந்து கண்டிப்பா வந்து உங்களுக்கு புரியும் எவ்வளோ நல்லா இருக்கும்னு. ஸோ அதை சொல்லிட்டு நான் வந்து I'm just going to start the student issue. என்னன்னா இது வந்து ஒரு பேர்னிங் இஷ்யூ. இப்போ எல்லாருக்கும் வந்து தெரியும் எவ்வளவு கஷ்டப்படுறாங்க, எவ்வளவு டிஸ்டர்பிங்கா இருக்கு இப்ப பசங்களுக்கு அப்படின்னு. ஏன்னா எல்லாருமே ஒரு mid-20s இருக்காங்க. எவ்வளவோ லோன் வாங்கி எவ்வளவோ ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி எல்லாம் வித்து இங்க படிச்சுட்டு ஒரு நல்ல பிரைட் ஃபியூச்சருக்காக வராங்க. ஸோ இட் இஸ் அவங்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த ஊர்ல வந்து தனியா வேற வந்து ஹேண்டில் பண்றாங்க இந்த மாதிரி விஷயத்தெல்லாம். ரொம்ப ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். ஸோ வி ஆர் வித் யூ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நாங்கள் வந்து சொல்லிக்கணும். அண்ட் ஆல்சோ லைக் யூ ஆர் நாட் அலோன். நிறைய ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் பாதிக்கப்பட்டிருக்காங்க இந்த விஷயத்துல. 800க்கு மேலே அப்படின்னு நாப்சா சொல்றாங்க. ஸோ அது மாதிரி அவ்வளோ ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் பாதிக்கப்பட்டிருக்காங்க. நீங்க வந்து என்ன எதனால யாரெல்லாம் பாதிக்கப்படுறாங்கன்னா இதுல வந்து என்னன்னா டெய்லி நார்மல் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் கூட நான் டிராவல் பண்ணலாமா, எனக்கு ஏதாவது ப்ராப்ளமா இருக்குமா, எதுவுமே வராம ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ், நார்மல் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்னா எல்லாருமே நார்மல் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் தான். பட் எந்த இஷ்யூமே வராத ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ், சர்வீஸ் கேன்சல் ஆகாத ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் கூட பயந்துட்டு இருக்காங்க. ஸோ யாரெல்லாம் பாதிக்கப்பட்டிருக்காங்கன்னா ஏற்கனவே ஏதாவது ஒரு லா என்ஃபோர்ஸ்மெண்ட்டோட ஏதோ ஒரு பிரச்சனை, ஈவன் கேஸ் டிஸ்மிஸ் ஆயிருந்தா கூட, அவங்க மேல தப்பே கிடையாது, இருந்தாலும் அவங்க கேஸ் ஏதோ ஒரு இஷ்யூ இருந்து அந்த கேஸ் டிஸ்மிஸ் ஆயிருந்தா கூட அவங்களுக்கு நிறைய பேருக்கு சர்வீஸ் டெர்மினேஷன்ஸ் வந்திருக்கு. அதே மாதிரி போர்ட் ஆஃப் என்ட்ரியில வந்துட்டு எனக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து ஒருத்தர் வரும்போது போர்ட் ஆஃப் என்ட்ரியில வந்திருக்கும் போது அவங்களுக்கு வந்து ஏதோ ஒரு லோன் டாக்குமெண்ட்ஸ்ல ஏதோ ஒரு டைப்போ இருந்திருக்கு. ஸோ அதை வந்து சஸ்பிஷன் பேஸ்ல அவங்க திருப்பி அனுப்பிச்சிட்டாங்க அந்த பையனை. ஸோ அந்த பையன் போய் திருப்பியும் லோன் டாக்குமெண்ட்ஸ் அதை சரி பண்ணிட்டு திருப்பியும் போய் விசா வாங்கிட்டு கூட உள்ள வந்தாச்சு. வந்து 2023ல வந்தாச்சு. ஸோ இப்போ ஓபிடியில் ஒர்க் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கும் போது மாஸ்டர்ஸையும் முடிச்சு ஓபிடியில் ஒர்க் பண்ணும்போது இப்போ சர்வீஸ் கேன்சலேஷன் டெர்மினேஷன் சொல்றாங்க. ஸோ இட் இஸ் வெரி டிஸ்டர்பிங். நான் முன்னாடியே சொன்ன மாதிரி இந்த மாதிரி தான் நடந்துட்டு இருக்கு இப்போ. ஸோ அதை பத்தி விரிவா பேசுறேன். அண்ட் நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி ரூமர்ஸும் நிறைய இருக்கு. யாருமே ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாரையும் கேன்சல் பண்ண போறாங்க, ஓபிடி எல்லாம் கேன்சல் பண்ண போறாங்க, இந்த மாதிரி ரூமர்ஸும் இருக்கு. தயவு செய்து எந்த ரூமர்ஸையும் நம்பாதீங்க. இன்னொரு பெரிய விஷயம் நான் சொல்லுவேன்னா, இந்த டைம் வந்து ரொம்ப வல்னரபிள். இப்போ நிறைய கால்ஸ் வந்து நீங்க வல்னரபிளா இருப்பீங்கன்னா நிறைய கால்ஸ் எல்லாம் வந்துட்டு இருக்கு இந்தியால இருந்து, நிறைய கண்ட்ரீஸ்ல இருந்து வந்து உங்களுக்கு இது செய்யறோம் அது செய்யறோம், இவ்வளவு பணம் கொடுங்க அவ்வளவு பணம் கொடுங்கன்னு. தயவு செய்து ஏமாந்துடாதீங்க. Validate and verify. This is what I would say.
Yes, thank you, Kavitha. I have a special request for attorney. We have a lot of multilingual people. So when we talk about this law perspective and all, if we could keep it to mostly if you are able to keep in English, it would be really appreciated. Because இப்போ நம்ம பேசி முடிக்கிறதுக்குள்ளாரே like we got so many messages requesting or இல்லனா transcript போட சொல்றாங்க. So it would be really nice if we are able to, especially when we are talking about law, because you guys are the experts. They would love to listen to you, and that's what they wanted. And I think we have a lot of people here who has been texted me so much with the question. So it would be nice. Thank you so much. And now Mary, please, you can.
Yeah. Vanakkam ellarkum. I'm just so glad and grateful to be part of this FeTNA and the event, as Kavitha rightly said. Unga ellariyum paakradhula it will be so nice. Enikku recent on the last 5 years more and more when I come over to the event, I look forward. Saree ella kuda eduthu vekkra madri irukku, what I'm going to wear and everything abdina. So it's more of a family event. So it'll be so nice to see you all, meet you all, to have that same excitement and everything. And coming back to this, whatever is happening within the F1 students, getting back because as time is limited, I'll just get into the topic directly. And thank you for each one of you joining, first of all, on a Sunday. And then thanks, Kavitha. Thank you, Pa. Always, when I see her post back to back, I could see that how much she is personally also worried about the situations and everything. So we both are on the same page with you. More important for me to say that personally as well is most of the time back-to-back calls for the last week was so overwhelming, even for me to personally take it, as Kavitha rightly said. So the one thing you all have to keep in mind when it comes to what the situation is going through at this time is there is hope, there is relief, there is something that's happening, even though it seems to be very scary at this point of time, when you just see that you will be deported to a third country, no other countries, not of your choice. It's the statement from the email itself is very scary, but at the same time, be assured, still now, even I was also listening to or attending so many other attorneys groups or forums, or even the calls. Even last week, there was on the Friday, there was a call that I did go into it to understand what's the real situation going on. So the one thing I just want to start with is the ICE has not personally, even after you got an email, there is no data or evidence to say that, any of those students has been personally detained by ICE. So keep that in mind. Nothing as of now have happened, even though the 14 days warning is still there effective. I'm not minimizing any of those legal impacts, but at the same time, coming to you, there is a relief, and there are so many litigations that have started happening. So how it's going to help you when you file for a reinstatement or a litigation, or how it can help you, just to get into the topic directly. So when there is some difference that you have to keep in mind what state you are in. If you are in an OPT and if you are on an STEM OPT, then the criteria you all know about it. Just to say that very quickly. So the first criteria is, if you're a student, all that you could do is keep in touch with your DSOs. They could understand the situation very well, and they are helpless at this point of time. They themselves doesn't know what kind of a support they could give or reissue an I-20 again, so that you could file for a reinstatement. If at all possible, the first step you should be doing is analyze your situation. I know you're all finding an attorney, talking to them, and most of the attorneys, as much as possible, are supporting, be available for you to talk on a call. So the first thing you should be doing it is, if you are able to get into a DSO and then get an I-20, reinstate yourself if you're still a student. More important is, if you have 2 weeks, so many of the students which we spoke to, they are completing their master's program by April end or May first week. In that case, don't leave it, you are just so you don't know about it, but just please try to complete it. Even if it's an online, you don't have to be in the campus. The DSOs are understanding on this situation, so please go for it. Complete your course no matter what. Whether you're in a status or not in a state, it doesn't matter. Just complete all the 2 weeks of time period. And then let's see how things are going to be. There are multiple lawsuits that have started, and they are very, very reasonable. With the minimum of, even Kavitha have provided so much of details on that. So with the $1,000, you can definitely get into, and they're very, very they are immediately, quickly getting an answer. It's not like, they're just dumping your data into somewhere else. There is a relief. If you can do that, please join those. It's worth the time and the money that you're going to be spending on that. So with these two things, I would say to move on to the next. Kavitha can also speak about it, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, Mary said it all, so we can move to the next topic. Definitely, as Mary said, finish the studies. Don't be, worried, or, don't take any hasty decisions. Still, we have options. We have so many things. I personally think there will be a solution. Kandipa, very soon we will know. So, don't take any hasty decisions about going out, or, unless, check with your attorney. So I can't say anything like don't go out without, just as a general advice, just check with your attorney, because every case is different. But in a general thing, don't decide on your own. That's what I would say.
Since we were talking about studies, there are a lot of colleges which is giving online education as well. So you take only a couple of classes which you go directly, and there are few classes which you can completely take online. So there was this one interesting thing, that one case that came along. This is regarding the online course restrictions. Some universities still offer hybrid options, but the ICE, they enforce very strict compliances on that. What are your thoughts on that?
So there are two things that we are talking about. When we are talking about the current situation, right? Definitely there is, when you're taking an online course, or your number of credits that you have to be, if you're a full-time student, that's very different than the current scenario, what we are talking about. So, when we talk about it, most of the emails that was received is from April 2nd, 1st to 2nd, so they are very close to the 14 days time limit, what we are looking at this point of time. So that matters a lot in the place of where they stand. Until now, there is no ICE getting detained for those students who are received their email. So there are, for other reasons, they have been detained, but that doesn't relate to this particular what we are going through. And then what your question relates to a different, if I am correct, in a regular student life of, okay, if you're a full-time student, what's your criteria to maintain your status? How many classes could be taken online? How many has to be a full-time? That's little different than what we are currently talking about right now. Okay. So focusing on what we have the situation right now, even the students who are supposed to be on the campus, okay, to take their 2 weeks of classes to get completed, they talking to the DSOs are able to get them to a place where they are okay to allow them to complete the courses. See, there are even one of the attorneys very rightly said last week, AILA is very conservative. If you look into it, American Immigration Lawyers Association, right? They themselves said, now, if you could stay in a place where you don't have to disclose the address, it never came up till this time as a conversation from AILA to advise the students, but understanding what kind of a critical mindset these people are going on. They're so desperate. They don't know whether they have to go back to India or, here to be vulnerable to, just to be, what is their next step is very, very questionable for them. So keeping that in mind, AILA has said, if you are in a current address, just move to a place where you're safe at the same time, it's not disclosed to everyone. Okay. So many, right. So the situation right now is if the DSOs are able to allow you to take the online classes and get it completed for the 2 weeks, please go ahead and do that so that you get your, like course completion done. So this is all very important for them. See, I always feel in the support system, 100%, me or Kavitha had been, sometimes you know the answer, it's not the answer, it's someone's assurance to say that it's okay for you, it's safe for these, as Kavitha said, these are all young kids, they don't know where to get it from. So I would strongly say, try to complete your course no matter what. You're in a place, as we don't have an answer at this point to tell them, oh, when you file in a litigation, you're good enough to continue to stay. That's not the answer we do have.
True.
We ourselves doesn't know about it, right? So
Okay.
that's where I would say we are in now.
Okay,
So
thank you.
add, like, the status on the studies, or how completing the studies are two different issues,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You still go and complete your studies.
Okay.
As said, like, if DSO allows, and you can probably talk to them, and definitely many of them are very considerate at this time, and they are very supportive. So I would suggest that complete your thing, and your status and these the current termination and your studies are two different things. And I also want to say that if it's only your visa cancellation and your status is still there, like, these are two different things as well. So visas, if you received an email from the consulate that your visa is cancelled, but you are still good with the status here, you can just continue, because sometimes even for other status, like if there is a DUI or if there is something like that, the visa will get cancelled. But the visa is only for your entry. You should understand that your I-94 controls here, your status here controls. So if you are maintaining your status here, just continue that. So just understand that the visa cancellation and your status are two different things.
Yes, sir. Whatever you said is a golden rule. Like, it's like whatever your visa is and your I-94 is like completely two different things. What you got to do is you maintain your status. So whether or not you're traveling, it all depends on your own personal situation and scenario. And you always have a choice what to do and what not to do. And when we're talking about this, please enlighten us with the OPT and the CPT programs. And half of the issues that coming now is with the students who are in an OPT program, and when they are trying to file an extension, and that's where they face an issue. And that comes in a different style and in different variations. But CPT and OPT programs, and when the students get into it, and that's where their visa and things comes into problems and issues. And that's where their visas get cancelled. Please enlighten that in that process, please.
You want to go, Kavitha, or can I go?
Right.
Right. Okay. So, see, coming back to, like the one more thing along with the visa, that whatever we did speak about it, right? What Kavitha said and you discussed earlier, just in continuity of that. So earlier, how it works is, there were so many scenarios where, this happened to many of them, being on a H-1B or any non-immigrant status. How it happens is the visa revocation always is common. The consulate says that, see, you did this, there is a criminal misdemeanor case against it. And then you receive a message from the consulate saying that, but at the same time, their extension of stay, the I-94 was never a problem. So this happens as a problem when they have to go for a consulate and or go travel out of country. That's when it became a problem. So this is a very new scenario, what we are seeing right now. So the email that is received is very clear to say that you need to leave the country. So there's a vast difference between the earlier pattern of it. Is it something, like even ICE has an authority to do that? Was a questionable scenario that has to be litigated in the lawsuit. And then what about this unlawful presence of extending after that? So many things we are not very clear about it, which we have to wait and see how it's going to happen. So coming back to your question, right, Sami, on that OPT, see, the very, very basic thing as a student, I would say that to you is, you missing to file something on time is as simple as such. But so many times you hear about it. I could have filed my extension prior to the 60 days, prior to the 90 days, but I missed to do that. Now I'm in out of status position. So then I am, have to go back because I don't remember. I forgot to do that. That's not a valid answer at all. And then anytime you're here, don't risk your status. Kavitha rightly said in the beginning itself. See, I've seen students, you're desperate to find a job where you have to go back and work in a restaurant. I do know personally, I have witnessed someone coming into the Chicago. All that the officer did was took his phone for the secondary inspection. And he said that you are working in a particular restaurant. So where did he get the information from? He was, he doesn't know where. All that he saw was his Google map or the other Apple map was showing that every day he was parking his car in a particular, restaurant. So you risk your complete life, career and everything just for a temporary employment, what you're going to be able to. You know very well, you being a computer science student, you couldn't do that, but we, it's not something you have to really take it seriously and, keep up the timeline. If you're in, completion of your master's degree, how earlier you have to file your OPT, how serious you have to when you join a CPT day one school, what's the credibility of them? And also coming back to here, I really wanted to say everything, whatever I could being in this call, because so many people are there. Even if it's your friends, you're not, I know not every one of you is on a student visas, but this is the time for you to support any other student who could get those information from you, right? So if you had been able to, you're picked up in a H1B status, please do file your H1B right away. Tell your employer who has been picked up. That gives you somewhere a support. You can file yourself as a consulate approval. You don't have to, we don't know what could be the next step, you being convicted or anything, any minimal, is there any charges? As Kavitha said, there are cases where there is just, a boyfriend and a girl was, getting into an argument. They were just taken to the, police custody and they were just released in 2 hours time period. But those people got a notice. This is not the right time for us to judge. Why did you do this? இப்படி பண்ணிருக்கலாம், அப்படி பண்ணிருக்கலாம். இந்த நியாயம்லாம் நம்ம பேச வேண்டிய நேரம் இது கிடையாது actually. Right, we have to look at it in a bigger picture of their life. They are young, they are, we are not there yet, okay? So adella we have to do that actually, and H1B status irundaduna kandipa file pannunga. Change of status or option irundadunalum, it's better for you to explore those options rather than keeping yourself on the F1 and fighting for it.
Yes.
Sorry if I'm taking too much of the time.
No problem, Mary. That is true. And to add to that, Kavitha, அவங்க வந்து criminal proceedings பத்தி சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. There is to add to that, I have another question for you, Kavitha. With regarding to the criminal records, there have been so many students whose visa was rejected who do not have a criminal record previously. But say, for example, there was this student whose port of entry, during the port of entry, like a couple of years back, was he was sent back for no reason or whatever reason. And after 20 days, he was reissued the visa and he came back. But now in 2024, when this person came inside, after he came into US, after 5 days, his visa was terminated and nothing was said. And currently this student is in OPT.
Yeah, so as I said before, first starting modala pesumode na, this is what I said, one criminal issues irukano, otherwise they would have been sent back by the port of entry. These are the two issues we are seeing where we are seeing that service termination. I mean, the case could have been dismissed. It's a very minor offense. Somebody just bought the car and they were traveling without the insurance, so, and he paid the fine. So these things are popping up now with the termination. It is very, very sad, and I don't think the due process is being followed. And there are attorneys, as I said in my post, as well as and I would like to say that there are many attorneys and AILA fighting for you. So even with your DSOs, the universities are pretty shocked by this thing. So we really don't know like how it's going to shape up, but I am definitely positive that there is something good going to happen, because last week the federal court case that was filed in New Hampshire, that the judge had put a temporary restraining order on the termination, meaning like the student could continue the studies. The reinstatement has been granted. So it's a temporary restraining order while the case is being processed. So இது வந்து full decision கிடையாது, பட் இருந்தாலும் ஏதோ ஒரு ஹோப் கொடுத்திருக்குல்ல அந்த கேஸ. So something has என்ன நடக்கிறதுனே தெரியாத ஒரு சூழ்நிலையில வந்து where the students are going here and there and crying and the parents calling, all these things are happening, and this is a time like when that case has given hope, which is why I say that just contact your attorney. Some attorneys are very, very compassionate, and filing a federal court for $1,000, I would suggest that take that option and just go. And because there is two different types of cases also. One is a class action suit, one is a mass action, which means that class action all of you are combining and doing it, but every case is different, right? So in this case I would say that a mass action where like everybody, I mean there's so many individuals joining together and filing against the defendant. So that's how it is. So I would suggest that join wherever possible, because I see that, I mean, the attorney was also saying that out of the 500 or something he received the petition, only one was legally they could have done it.
Okay.
So, everything is whatever he's seeing is not valid for the service termination.
Okay.
So, that is what it is. So that's what I would suggest.
Thank you, Kavitha. So since we have a lot of questions, let's try to keep it short, because I have a lot of other Q&A where people have sent us with their own personal thing. I would like to emphasize again, none of these answers are legal advice. These are the general suggestions given by our very kind attorneys. So kindly consider this as a disclaimer. None of these are legal advice, please. So coming back, we were talking about the criminal records and the visas being terminated. So what would be the next step? Say there is the student whose visa has been terminated. So what the student can do as a next step, considering that this person is already inside US, but the visa, he's getting a notice that his visa has been terminated. What are the next steps? In a simplified version, what are the other things that, like, whether they can go for an appeal, or I know there is a lot of things depending on the students. On an overview, instead of panicking, instead of doing anything, what are the next basic steps that this student can do?
See, I think we already discussed about it as a general discussion, that you contact the DSO first to see like if the reinstatement is possible, and also like join the federal case court, and also first contact your attorney to see what your current status is, meaning like as Mary said, like if your H1B has been selected, some even suggesting to self-deport so that you can come as a with a stamping during the consular process. So everything is every case is different, but as a general thing, like I would say that contact your DSO, contact an attorney, and see like if you can join a federal lawsuit against the ICE.
Okay. This question is to you, Barry. How about, there is something called the police clearance letter, which the students have got previously about the previous cases. I know we have gone through this again, but there are so many people who have joined now and who's been pinging again and again. And that one of the majority, the number of people who was asking about the same question is this one. They've got this clearance letter, and which helped them to get the visa again, who had some kind of issues previously. But the question is, will that not have any validity again? Because I went through that procedure, I submitted again, and I got those visas. And this is not one or two, there is a handful of people who send the same kind of information, but for various reasons. But and now again, my visa is in jeopardy. So what will that happen again?
Sure, Sumi. So coming back to here to address this, so many of them, there was a student I did speak to from Purdue, which said like public intoxication, which happened in 2022. And then, like nothing, she was not a threat for anyone. She was not driving under the DUI or anything. She just public intoxication in the campus, where she was taken to the medical emergency unit, and then she was given some medical emergency and she was released back. So where does this come as an, for her to be terminated of the service? But there are people who also was involved in other felony crimes and everything. So the problem here is both of them are getting the same kind of an email that your visa was revoked, right? So can we justify that both are the same here? No. So you have to differentiate where is your stand on this. What did you do exactly? See, we have done enough of it. Me or Kavitha, it always happens with the domestic violence or any of them, the arguments and everything. So the 911 comes. What actually as a process happens is you will be, as whoever has been charged will be taken to the court on the following week or any time. And then the judge, once the wife or the husband say, mostly the wife, she goes and says, oh, we are all okay now, right? And then that's a common scenario that happens. So what happens to this case? If you take those kind of cases, you'll end up in so many of them, right? So this is going to be a case that has been dismissed. The same scenario is happening with all the students at this. So the relief that what we are looking at this point of time is, as we said, we don't have an exact answer on the legal side of it to tell them that, okay, you don't have to worry about it. But at the same time, there is definitely going to be, if these students are not to be, allowed to complete their master's degree just because they have done a public intoxication. And as Kavitha said, there's no due process. Where is it you had been given even to talk about this, right? You just coming up with a decision from the Department of State and then being enabled by, ICE doesn't stand as a proper legal process in this case. So we are saying to you all, irrespective, you're so worried about it, you go back to the same situation of what did I do? What am I going to do? Just wait for it. Be present for you to file against it. And there is definitely going to be some kind of a relief that is going to happen for people who are not really, as you said, it can be of any situation, a police clearance, and then if at all they are going to go for a stamping of a visa, I always tell them, like a DUI is not something as a value system, I never could support that actually, right? When you go for a consulate, you be prepared that you have to be waiting you can say anything. Oh, my case was expunged and I have done everything, but the consulate can pick it up. That's the reality of any situation that was always in a process. You could have got your extensions done multiple times being in US on a H-1B, but this doesn't guarantee you when you go for a consulate, you are supposed to wait for an administrative process, and then it takes 3 months to 6 months for them to get it cleared, and then they come back. So the people who said that I have already gone through the process, but still I got an email right now, all that I could say is, you cannot be assured that, okay, that means I'm taking my own decision and I'm continuing to be doing what I'm going to do. No, but at the same time, just in a week time, it has started. The filing of the lawsuits are happening on Monday, Tuesday, or anything. By the time next week, we'll have a little more of a clear picture of what we will be as a relief going to get it.
True. Kavitha has been saying from the beginning, we are still getting new informations every day, Sumi. So let's wait for like 2 more days. We'll get more informations. So thank you, Mary. Thank you so much. So Kavitha, the next one is for you. So I don't know how much people know about this, but the word expungement, dismissal, the waivers, how much this contribute to this process? Say one F1 student went through something in under the criminal record. He's been arrested for whatever reasons, and this kid also expunged his records. But right now, will the ICE or Homeland Security will be digging into that, and will that affect this?
Yeah, so coming to the USCIS, always like, the expungement or whatever, dismissal, whatever it is, you have to disclose that. It's always been like that, even with the 485, whatever the criminal records you had, even it's expunged, it doesn't really matter. You have to disclose that, because not disclosing it can also lead to misrepresentation, which is a bigger offense, right? So I would say that anything you have, any criminal case or any arrest you have or citations you have, it's better to disclose it and not rather than not disclosing it, because we don't know like what can be construed as a misrepresentation with the immigration. So I mean, don't, you just have to, doesn't matter, you have to disclose. I see that recent Colombia incident also, one of the reasons is like the person thought like, it's been dismissed. So
Right.
before anything, I would say that whenever you're coming to a different country, please be aware of what your visa at least states, right? What are the limitations of it? Whether you can work, whether you can do what you can do, what are you supposed to do, what you should not do. All these things, at least have that in mind. No, be aware. So even with the students, as Mary said, like, they're missing the deadlines, this is not an excuse.
True.
So you should be aware, what are my deadlines, when I have to file an extension, when I have to file for an OPT, when I have to update my service. All these things you have to be understanding in any of the, whatever visa you come in for that matter.
True.
Understand and be aware. So anything, whether it's expense or anything, the question is, have you ever been arrested or
Right.
suspected? So whether it's expensed or not, the question remains the same.
Right.
So disclose it. That's what I would suggest.
Yes, thank you. Ignorance of law is never excused at all, no matter what happens. So coming to you, Mary, the next question is, what are the mandatory paperwork other than the visa related or immigration related? Do you think the students need to carry if they get to travel, and if they are in the port of entry so far, and if they have everything else, do you think they need to carry any kind of extra paperwork other than immigration related paperwork, with something that extra in their hand, according to today's scenario?
Yeah, so the today's scenario, there are, as Kavitha started with that, right? So the even for me, yesterday I got a call in the morning he was my school teacher, and his grandson is getting married, and he's already here on F1 student visa. He's on a STEM OPT. He has a job. He was even asking me, is it okay for me to go for my wedding in June? So the first thing is, it's not, not everybody should be restricting yourself, even though there are so many secondary documents, and there is, always as a non-immigrant, be prepared. You will be going for a secondary inspection. Be prepared from the beginning that what if you're going to go through a secondary inspection. Don't discuss something which is not needed to be there. It's not fun to have all those in the records of your phone. And also there is port of entry. I think even Kavitha shared it, know your rights. About everywhere we can talk about it, right? So in those scenarios, understand that at a port of entry, there's nothing that you could be protected of. So what else you can do? Nobody's going to question you if travel a week before, if you uninstall your WhatsApp and do it. You have the authority and the control with you where you can do that. At the same time, you coming back, and then, we know so many port of entries are tough as such, like Chicago or, Abu Dhabi for the next reason. So about it. In those scenarios, if you could avoid as a student, the best is something like, New York is supposed to be. See, we are not saying here in a call to assure you, oh, this is all going to be so good. No, just a helping guidelines where it could be little better than how it is in other places. Okay. So those and documentations, when it comes to it, all that you're supposed to, from the beginning, as Kavitha rightly said, being a non-immigrant, right? I know you are, that too, you are in a place where you are always open to questions about your F1 student status. And so be prepared for having a proper school attendance, that is from the start of it. Maintain your school relationship with your DSO. This sounds as simple as such, but these are all so many proper ways for you to maintain your status. And then if you're working with a proper employee, don't take things for granted. I always tell, my daughter used to say that to me, like, you should have a lot more of work-life balance. How do you do that? I say, I'm a first generation immigrant, okay? So in most of the places, உங்களை மாதிரி எங்களுக்கு பெரிய சாய்ஸ் எல்லாம் இல்ல. எங்களுக்கு வந்து நாங்க கஷ்டப்படணும், வாழ்க்கையில முன்னேறணும், இதெல்லாம் எங்களுக்கு இருக்கு. ஸோ அதனால உங்க அளவுக்கு எங்களால பண்ண முடியாது. யூ கைஸ் ஹேவ் த லக்ஸரி ஆஃப் டூயிங் இட். இது எல்லாமே உண்மை இவங்களுக்கு. ஸோ ஆஸ் எ ஸ்டூடெண்ட் யூ ஷுட் பி மோர் அண்ட் மோர் ப்ரிப்பேர்டு. நான் கவிதாவை எனக்கு நல்லாவே தெரியும். என்கிட்ட ஷீல் ஆல்சோ சே, மை டாட்டர் சே, எப்ப பார்த்தாலும் அம்மாவா இருக்காத என்ன போய் கிளையண்ட் கிட்ட எல்லாம். ஐ சே நோ நோ நோ, I'll be the mom anywhere. Given a choice, you can't take it away from me. All the students, see, now we care about them. To be on a call to support them. Idellame vande naturally we are there to support them. Na, what you are supposed to do, please do it. Very simple as such. Timeline filing, time vande correct ah pandrathu. Avoid places where you don't have to be there. You have a difference between being a citizen, a US citizen, and a F1 status. Keep that in mind. Not everything is there for us as well. These are some things I would say, Sumni.
Thank you, Mary. Kavitha, coming to you. How much, this is the most important question, and I really want you to address very strongly how much social media posting is very, very important. I have the list of social media I really want to say, but I will go boundless. But it is how much social media posting is very important, and I really want to say how, even if they keep thousands of privacy settings, it's beyond impossible for one to stop themselves or hiding themselves from posting whatever. When once they click that enter button out there, like everything is public. Please.
So I was about to talk about that, and you asked this question. It's a great question, and we have to understand that we are in a different country. First of all, you have to understand students and non-immigrants. Like Mary said, you are in different place. You have to understand what it is, what you are supposed to do. Once general away, whenever you put anything on a social media, it's always stays there. You should understand that thing. So and the click syndrome nu solluvaanga. So you don't even sometimes read it. Unga friends like pannitaanga something, somebody posted it and you just wanted to go and click it and put a like or put a comment or saying that you don't even know what the issue is. Sometimes the kids, they just get carried away by the other friends. So I know a kid who just went into the college when she was 19. She was on a green card, and the college has this citizenship, the booth and everything for registering to vote, right? She doesn't even know what she is signing for. So all the students say, let's go. It's a kid, an 19-year-old. So they just get carried away by the other friends, and they think that there is something like a prize winning in the booth and all that. They just put their name, right? And she had a bigger issue about when the citizenship thing came, how do you register to vote and things like that. So just you have to be understanding what you are particularly supporting or what you are doing. And it's sometimes even though it is not a terrorist organization or anything, just be very, very careful in what you support.
Sorry to cut you in between. When you say what you're supporting, along with adding to the social media thing, about these processions that going in the school, instead of supporting just because the friends are going, physically and having the black badge and having the hoardings, and without even knowing what is happening. Can you please talk about that again? Why I wanted to say that, because most of the issues that come is because of that. Because now these days they have the list of students who participated in that, and they can very easily pull it out from the college. And many students got kind of a ticket. I don't know what they call. Many colleges did receive it, but they did not get any visa inquiry so far. But they got some kind of letter from the department mentioning that you have participated in this kind of an event. We wanted you to take care. Please inform. It's a basic constitutional right, but I don't want to get into the details of that part of the issue. But I just wanted to focus on the visa thing here. Can you please continue with that?
Yes, the recent we have, I think day before yesterday, right, Mary, we received a USCIS mail stating that, social media has been, they are vetting out all the social media. They are doing through the AI to see who is participating, who is doing what. So they have, USCIS has issued a statement that they are monitoring the social media. So be very careful, be very careful on what you post, So that's I can't stress this enough. நீங்க வந்து வேற கண்ட்ரில இருக்கீங்க, நான் இமிகிரண்ட் விசால இருக்கீங்க. ஸோ டு நாட் எதுக்குமே வந்து நான் பயப்பட சொல்லல. வாட் எவர் யூ கேன் வாய்ஸ், ஃப்ரீடம் ஆஃப் எக்ஸ்பிரஷன், ஸ்பீச் எல்லாம் இருக்கு. பட் நீங்க எதுக்கு வந்து சம்டைம்ஸ் சப்போர்ட் பண்றீங்க அப்படின்னா வந்து அவங்களோட இன்டர்பிரிட்டேஷன் ஒண்ணு இருக்கும்ல, வாட் யூ ஆர் டூயிங் அப்படின்னு. ஸோ அதை யூ ஹாவ் டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் தட். ஸோ டோன்ட் கெட் இன் டு ஆல் தீஸ் திங்ஸ் அண்ட் டோன்ட் போஸ்ட் எனி திங் வித்வுட் நோயிங் ஆர் ஈவன் வித் நோயிங். ஸோ தட்ஸ் வாட் ஐ வுட் சஜஸ்ட்.
It's true. Correct, Kavitha.
That is so perfect. Thank you so much. I almost covered all the questions. Other questions were like too personal with from their form numbers to everything. As I told everybody, it is beyond impossible to address every single question, which is way too personal, because this is not a legal advice. This is something that we really wanted to do to the community. Just to summarize with whatever you both said, if at all somebody is facing such kind of F1 issues, the first thing that they can do is they contact their DSO and reinstate if possible, to keep up with their current status, because their visa is something different and their I-94 status is completely different. Please reach out to your immigration attorneys. I wanted to emphasize again whatever our attorney said. Currently, whatever the charges that the immigration attorneys are charging, especially with the student visa, and especially who are in trouble, is very, very, very nominal. Please reach out to them and inform them that you are a student, and trust me, you will be taken care. And there are so many colleges who have legal aid programs who give you a lot of support. Reach out to your student union, reach out to your college legal aid programs, and also reach out to your local bar council where they have a supportive legal aid. And when you guys tell them that you are a student, they'll give you priority, and you can reach out to all these places, and whoever takes care of you, please be honest with them, reveal all your issues. And if you have a criminal record, as the attorney said, inform them whatever you're going through, and you will be taken care. And please do your timely filing. Ignorance of law is never an excuse. If you miss your date, actually you missed the date, that's it, done, period. Nothing can be taken care later. Whether you can do an appeal or not, it depends case by case. We cannot bluntly answer yes you can go for an appeal. No, it doesn't work like that. I'm so sorry to say this, but that's the reason you attended this. Let me be on the face. Yes, I cannot say yes you can go for an appeal. It purely depends on case by case. Yes, you got to travel all the documents. If you feel that this document will be helpful for you, carry it. It's just a piece of paper. There is no harm in carrying an extra, rather than feeling bad that you didn't have that. Right, always carry it and reveal it. If they ask for your criminal records or charges, be honest, tell them this is what happened. If you have expunged record, as our attorney said, inform them. Be very, very clear in whatever you speak, and answer to the questions that they ask you. I wanted to make it very specific. Please answer only to the questions that they ask. Only to the questions that they ask, and not all the knowledge that we have. And there are two different things. Let's keep up to that. And if you have more questions, please email to FeTNA. They've already given their valuable time to us. And I really appreciate Kavitha and Mary. I know how much I nagged both of you, texting you in the midnight, waking you up in the early morning. And Kavitha, you never sleep, don't you? நீங்க தூங்கவே மாட்டீங்க. நான் 2 மணிக்கு மெசேஜ் பண்ணாலும் மெசேஜ் பண்ணுவாங்க, 1 மணிக்கு மெசேஜ் பண்ணாலும் மெசேஜ் பண்ணுவாங்க. I don't know how you do this. And she'll text me like I have all the energy in the night.
I don't want her to do it, Sumi.
No, you don't have to. Bad practice. Exactly. No, that's a very bad practice. I thought I'm bad, and I think she's the worst. But thank you so much. Actually, we pretty much covered everything. This is very beautiful. These are the main things that everybody wanted to know. I really appreciate this is the need of the hour, and I really thank FeTNA. Pradeep, can you please put in the other team members in the screen, please? I really appreciate it. And Kavitha and Mary, if you have anything to say, please solunga.
Thank you for the opportunity, and definitely, in coming weeks we will know more. We will be both on behalf of Mary also. I'm saying we'll be very happy to have another session also on this. It's always a pleasure to support our community here.
Yes, sure. Mary, ninga?
எனக்குமே எல்லாருக்குமே ரொம்ப ரொம்ப நன்றி. ஐ ஆல்வேஸ் கெட் லைக் அதுவும் கவிதாவோட நானும் எல்லாம் பேசும்போது இட்ஸ் ஜஸ்ட் கான்வர்சேஷன். அது சுமி தேங்க் யூ ஃபார் வாட் எவர் யூ டூ அஸ் வெல் லைக் ஹார்ட்ஃபுல்லி ஐ நோ வாட் இட் இஸ் பிஹைண்ட் த ஸ்கிரீன்ஸ். யூ டூ இட் ஃபார் த கம்யூனிட்டி, எவ்ரி ஒன் ஆஃப் யூ. ஐ வேல்யூ
எக்ஸாக்ட்லி
ரைட். எல்லாருமே அந்த ஃபெட்னா லைக் நம்மளோட கம்யூனிட்டி இதெல்லாம் இல்லைன்னா நம்ம தொலைஞ்சு போயிடுவோமே அப்படியே வந்துட்டு. அதனால தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச். ஐ ஆல்வேஸ் கிரேட்ஃபுல் டு பி பார்ட் ஆஃப் this team and support the community. Kavitha சொன்ன மாதிரி anytime in between weekdaysல கூட ஒரு ஈவினிங் கால் குயிக்கா தேவைப்பட்டதுனாலும் we are always there to support actually.
Yes, the QR code in the poster is always active. The dates may differ. And the QR code la உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது கேள்விகள் இருந்துச்சுன்னா please continue and you can add on to your questions, and whenever we have our next session we will do that. But if you are in an emergency, please reach out to your nearest attorney, whoever is available. This is not a legal advice. Thank you. And நன்றி உரை சொல்றதுக்காக நம்ம ஜான்சி ராணி கூட வந்திருக்காங்க. ப்ளீஸ் வாங்க.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கங்க. களத்தினால் செய்த நன்றி சிறிதெனினும் ஞானத்தின் மானப்பெரிது. இந்த மிக அவசரமான நேரத்தில் தக்க சமயத்தில் மனம் உவந்து ஒருவர் உதவி, எவ்வளோ உதவி செஞ்சிருக்கீங்க. தூங்காம கூட நீங்க எல்லாம் இவ்வளோ உதவி செஞ்சதுக்கு இந்த உலகத்தை விட பெரிய ரொம்ப பெருசுங்க. இந்த நிகழ்ச்சிக்கு ஏற்பாடு செய்த வட அமெரிக்க சட்டம், குடிவரவு, குடியுரிமை குழு மற்றும் தமிழ் அவசர உதவி குழுக்களுக்கு மனமார்ந்த நன்றிகள். அப்புறம் எப்படிங்க இதெல்லாம் எப்படி நீங்க செய்றீங்கன்னு தெரியல, ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சிறப்பா இருக்குங்க. உங்களை பேரவையின் முன்னாள் செயற்குழு உறுப்பினர் கவிதா ராமசுவாமி அவர்களுக்கும், பேரவையின் முன்னாள் கிரீவன்ஸ் கமிட்டி உறுப்பினர் மேரி கெனடிக்கும், இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை மிக சிறப்பாக தொகுத்து வழங்கி கொண்டிருக்கும் சுமிதா கேசவன் அவர்களுக்கும் மனமார்ந்த நன்றிகள். இது போன்ற தமிழ் சமூகத்துக்கு மிக மிக அவசியமான பல நிகழ்வுகள் பேரவை விழாவில் இடம்பெற இருக்கிறது. நீங்க எல்லாரும் விழாவுக்கு வாங்க. நம்ம எல்லாம் ஊர் கூடி தேர் இழுப்போங்க. இதெல்லாம் சிறப்பா பண்றதுக்கு ஜூலை 3, 4, 5 ஆகிய நாட்களில் ராலி நகரில் உங்கள் அனைவரையும் சந்திக்க ஆவலோடு காத்திருக்கிறோம். வாங்குங்க. தமிழால் இணைவோம், தமிழால் இணைவோம், தமிழராய் வாழ்வோம். நன்றி, வணக்கம் எல்லாருக்கும்.
நன்றிங்க. Thank you எழிலன் for all the support, and thank you ராஜேந்திரன், and thank you பிரதீப். டெக்னிக்கல் டீமுக்கும் எங்களுடைய நன்றிகள். என்னோட எல்லா டார்ச்சரையும் ஹேண்டில் பண்ணதுக்கு thank you so much.
நன்றிங்க, ரொம்ப நன்றி.
Have a lovely Sunday. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.